How's it going, guys? So this is a very solid question for internal medicine for 2CK, as well as a challenging question for general pathology for step 1. So before we get started, I will be an asshole like I usually am and tell you to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And find me on Instagram at Mehlman_medical, MEHL_medical. Link is down below. And find me on Telegram. Recently created a Telegram group and channel. Links are down below. Now let's hop into the actual question here where we've got this 64-year-old guy. He's got intermittent fever, fatigue, hematuria over the past month. Examination of the prostate shows no abnormalities. We obviously want to consider prostate cancer in a male over 50. Serum calcium elevated at 12 milligrams per deciliter. Normal range 8.4 to 10.2. Phosphorus decreased 0.8 milligrams per deciliter. Normal range 2.5 to 4.5. The urea, nitrogen, and creatinine are normal. Okay, so it should be 20 or under for urea nitrogen, 0.7 to 1.2 for creatinine. Urine blood, obviously, that's abnormal, 2 plus. Urine protein's negative. Question's asking most likely diagnosis. So why don't we just walk through the answers here, okay? Going backwards, squamous cell carcinoma, wrong fucking answer. Now look, this is where some students will get real heated because you see that clearly calcium's up, phosphorus is down. That looks like a primary hyperparathyroid picture. Obviously, it's not an answer here. So when we consider paraneoplastic syndromes for cancer, you say, oh, wow, like squamous cell carcinoma of the lung, okay? I mean, PTHRP secretion, that could give us the picture here. So it's probably squamous cell, but it's the wrong fucking answer because it doesn't address the hematuria, okay? You can't ignore relevant details. I mean, you don't just magically get blood in the urine with squamous cell carcinoma of the lung. Now, the high yield factoid you need to know, which is also me being an asshole because this is a slightly unusual detail in terms of what most people have heard, but it's high yield on the NBMEs, is that renal cell carcinoma can also secrete PTHRP, all right? And I have seen it show up as renal cell adenocarcinoma, which sounds incredibly weird. You say, why not just write renal cell carcinoma? I know, I agree, okay? I've seen renal cell adenocarcinoma written on the NBME exams as an answer. Now, cancer in general can cause metastases, which can cause calcium to leach out of the bones due to lytic lesions and give us an elevated calcium, okay? But it's not going to give us a decreased phosphorus. So this is clearly, this combination of high calcium, low phosphorus is a PTHRP, a paraneoplastic type picture. And this is going to be renal cell carcinoma, all right? So some other high yield points, because we have other diagnoses here that are worthy of note. Goodpasture syndrome. This would not cause our electrolyte disturbance. This is going to be a male 20s to 40s who has hematuria, hemoptysis, anti-GBM antibodies, glomerular basement membrane antibodies against type 4 collagen, and a linear immunofluorescence if you do renal biopsy. Granulomatosis with polyangiitis, just the fancy new way of saying Wegener, which is going to be hematuria, hemoptysis, and headitis, quote unquote, which colloquially can refer to mastoiditis, sinusitis, otitis, nasal septal perforation, C-ANCA positivity, antiproteinase 3 antibodies. Lupus nephritis, wrong fucking answer. I mean, you can obviously get a nephritic picture, but it doesn't explain the other combination of findings. I mean, our high calcium, low phosphate. We don't have any other findings in lupus, such as arthritis. That's the most common feature. Low platelets, discoid lupus, mucositis. Okay, it's not lupus. Pieritis nodosa. This is a string of beads or string of pearls appearance of the renal vasculature. Classically, spares the lungs. It's just a vasculitis. Classically associated with hepatitis B, can be hepatitis C, but it's usually hepatitis B. 30% of those with pieritis nodosa are positive for hepatitis B. That's the factor you need to know. So once again, your take home for this question is renal cell carcinoma, not just squamous cell carcinoma of the lung. Renal cell carcinoma, which can show up on NBMEs as renal cell adenocarcinoma, can also secrete PTHRP, as well as EPO causing polycythemia. You know the deal. I'm going to continue making more content. If you like my stuff, subscribe to my channel. And I appreciate your time. That's it.